For decades, one of the biggest arguments against Linux was that it was simply too difficult for the average person. People imagined a black terminal screen filled with mysterious commands, complicated installations, broken drivers, and endless troubleshooting. Windows, despite its flaws, remained the operating system that people recommended because it was familiar, easy to install, and supported almost every piece of hardware and software. But if you fast forward to today, that old argument has started to disappear. Modern Linux distributions have evolved at an incredible pace, and many of them now provide an experience that is just as polished, intuitive, and beginner-friendly as Windows, if not better. In fact, Linux has become so easy that one has to ask a serious question. Does Windows still have any real advantage left for the average user? The first thing that surprises anyone trying Linux in 2026 is how effortless the installation process has become. Distributions like Ubuntu, Linux Mint, Fedora KDE, Kubuntu, Zorin OS, and Pop!_OS guide users through a clean graphical installer that requires very little technical knowledge. Most installations are completed within 20 minutes, and the operating system automatically detects hardware, configures storage, and installs essential drivers. The days of manually partitioning disks and hunting for missing drivers are becoming a thing of the past. Once installed, Linux feels surprisingly familiar. Desktop environments such as KDE Plasma, Cinnamon, and GNOME provide polished interfaces that rival or even surpass Windows in terms of responsiveness and customization. Users can drag files, install applications with a single click, customize themes, organize desktops, and manage settings without ever touching the command line. The terminal is no longer a requirement. It has become a powerful, optional tool rather than a mandatory part of daily computing. One of Linux's greatest strengths is speed. Many users switching from Windows immediately notice how responsive their computers feel. Applications launch faster, updates complete more quickly, and background processes consume fewer resources. Even older laptops that struggle with the latest versions of Windows often receive a second life after installing Linux. Systems that once took several minutes to boot can suddenly become fast and enjoyable to use again. This improved performance is one of the biggest reasons why millions of users are reconsidering Linux. Another area where Linux has made enormous progress is software installation. Years ago, installing applications often required adding repositories or typing complicated commands. Today, graphical software centers make the process incredibly simple. Whether using Flatpak, Snap, or traditional package managers, users can browse thousands of applications just like they would in a mobile app store. Popular software, including Firefox, Chrome, VLC, Steam, LibreOffice, Discord, Spotify, OBS, Studio Visual Studio Code, and many others can be installed with a few clicks. Updates are another place where Linux quietly outperforms Windows. Windows updates have long frustrated users with unexpected restarts, lengthy installation times, and forced upgrades. Linux handles updates in a much more controlled manner. Users decide when to install them, what packages to update, and whether a reboot is even necessary. Security patches often install within seconds, and many updates happen without interrupting ongoing work. This flexibility gives users complete control over their own computers. Security has always been a Linux advantage, but its importance continues to grow. Linux benefits from a strong permission model, open-source transparency, and rapid security updates. Malware targeting Linux desktops remains relatively uncommon compared to Windows, reducing the need for constantly running antivirus software. Users spend less time worrying about viruses and more time actually using their computers. Gaming was once considered Linux's biggest weakness, but that perception has changed dramatically. Valve's Proton compatibility layer allows thousands of Windows games to run on Linux with little or no performance loss. Steam Deck has accelerated Linux gaming development, encouraging developers to improve compatibility and optimize games for Linux users. Many popular titles now work almost flawlessly, and graphics driver support from AMD, Intel, and NVIDIA continues to improve with every release, while a handful of multiplayer games still face anti-cheat limitations. The overall gaming experience is vastly different from what it was only a few years ago. Content creators also have more reasons than ever to choose Linux. Professional applications like Blender, GIMP, Krita, DaVinci, Resolve, KDE, OBS Studio, and Audacity provide powerful tools for video editing, streaming, digital art, and audio production. Many creators discover that Linux offers greater stability during long editing sessions while consuming fewer system resources than Windows. Software development is another field where Linux naturally excels. Most programming languages, development tools, and server technologies are built with Linux compatibility in mind. Developers enjoy native support for Docker, Kubernetes, Git, Python, Node.js, Rust, Go, Java, and countless other technologies without requiring additional compatibility layers. This streamlined workflow has made Linux the preferred operating system for programmers worldwide. Customization is perhaps where Linux completely separates itself from Windows. Users can choose from multiple desktop environments, customize every visual element, change system behavior, replace components, and even build lightweight installations tailored to specific needs. Unlike Windows, where Microsoft determines many interface decisions, Linux allows users to shape the operating system according to their own preferences rather than adapting themselves to Microsoft's vision. Privacy has become another major reason why people switch. Windows has gradually increased telemetry collection, cloud integration, advertisements, and online account requirements. Linux distributions generally respect user privacy by collecting little or no personal information. Most installations do not require online accounts, subscriptions, or mandatory cloud synchronization. Users remain in control of their own data. The hardware compatibility story has also improved significantly. Modern Linux kernels support an enormous range of processors, graphics cards, Wi-Fi adapters, printers, and peripherals out of the box. Many devices function immediately after installation without requiring users to search manufacturer websites for drivers. This seamless experience removes another traditional obstacle that once discouraged newcomers. Cloud integration has become much more convenient as well. Services like Google Drive, Dropbox, Nextcloud, Microsoft OneDrive through community tools, and numerous synchronization solutions work effectively on Linux. Web browsers support virtually every major online service, making the operating system highly practical for students, businesses, and home users alike. Artificial intelligence has also contributed to Linux's growing popularity. Many AI frameworks, machine learning libraries, and developer tools perform best on Linux. Researchers, engineers, and enthusiasts often choose Linux because it provides faster access to cutting-edge technologies while avoiding unnecessary operating system limitations. Perhaps the biggest shift isn't technical at all. It's psychological. For years, people believed Linux required expertise. Today, countless first-time users install Linux successfully without reading a single tutorial. They browse the web, edit documents, watch videos, attend online meetings, play games, and complete everyday tasks exactly as they would on Windows. The learning curve has become much smaller than many people expect. Of course, Windows still has strengths. Certain specialized enterprise applications, proprietary engineering software, and a few professional creative tools remain Windows exclusive. Some businesses also rely on legacy software that only runs properly on Microsoft's platform. These situations continue to justify Windows for specific users. However, they represent a shrinking portion of the overall desktop market rather than the average home user. For everyday computing, the traditional advantages of Windows continue to fade. Ease of use is no longer exclusive to Microsoft. Hardware support has improved dramatically. Software availability has expanded. Gaming has reached impressive levels. Security remains stronger. Privacy is better protected. Updates are less disruptive. And performance often exceeds expectations. Linux is no longer the operating system that demands technical expertise before rewarding its users. Instead, it has matured into a polished, modern platform that welcomes beginners while still satisfying advanced users. The irony is that Linux has become so simple and so capable that the question has shifted from, why would anyone use Linux? To what meaningful advantage does Windows actually have left for most people? As Linux continues to evolve year after year, that question becomes increasingly difficult to answer.